current density. Current density is an important feature of electric current. One basic feature of current is it is a scalar quantity. Okay, but it has direction. Current has direction. What is the direction of current? The direction of current is from positive terminal to negative. If a conductor is connected to a battery, current flows from its positive to negative. So current has direction, but it is a scalar quantity. Do you know what is the reason? The reason is, for example, if we consider a circuit like this, circuit is not complete. We can assume here through this branch current is flowing downward. The magnitude of current let be 5 ampere. Here through this branch the direction of current will be upward and the magnitude be 3 ampere. We know that at the junction this current and this current combines to form 8 ampere current. Okay, that we know. So here 5 ampere plus 3 ampere is equal to 8 ampere. Okay, so that is the normal flow of current. But if current satisfies the vector addition, for example, here downward, if you consider vector downward, 5 ampere. If you consider vector upward, 3 ampere. Okay, if we know that we know the vector addition. If one vector is in the downward direction, another vector is in the upward direction, what is the direction of the resultant downward? No? This because this magnitude is greater. So what is the resultant? It will be 2 ampere in which direction? Downward direction. That is a vector addition. So using vector addition method, 5 ampere, if this magnitude and this magnitude, they combines to form 2 ampere and the directions will be in the downward direction. Okay, but actually in the normal circuit, it does not satisfy. That is not true. 5 ampere and 3 ampere, it just combines as the normal addition to form 8 ampere. So current does not follow vector addition method. Current follows the normal rule of scalar addition. Okay, so even though current has magnitude and direction, it does not satisfy vector addition. It follows the rule of scalar addition, and hence current is considered as a scalar quantity. And hence we can say that current is a scalar. What is the reason? Current follows the rule of scalar addition. It does not follow vector addition method. So that is the reason. Okay, children. Now we move on to the topic current density. So if you consider a conductor, we can consider a conductor. This is a conductor. Let it is connected to a battery. Let V be the potential difference, R be the resistance of this conductor. Okay, I be the current flowing through the conductor, L be the length of the conductor, A be its area of cross section. Okay, now from Ohm's law we can write V equals IR. Okay, so Ohm's law is V equal to IR, and we know that resistance, R be the resistance, and resistance depends on length, area of cross section. Okay, so what is the relation between resistance with length and area of cross section? We know V equals I into resistance is given by rho L divided by A. Rho represents the specific resistance or resistivity. Okay, now this can be written as this L is taken to the left side. So V by L equals I rho divided by A. Now, potential difference divided by length or voltage divided by length. We know that potential difference divided by length is given by which physical quantity? That is given by electric field. Okay, V by L or V by R, that is called electric field. So V by L, since V by L is equal to electric field E, we can write V by L can be substituted as E equals I rho divided by A. Okay, now we are introducing the term current density here. This current divided by area of cross section, I by A. This I by A is called a current density. Current flowing per unit area. I by A is called a current density. current density at any point inside the conductor is the amount of charge per second through a unit area, or current flowing per unit area is called current density, and it is represented by the letter J. Okay, so using this we can write electric field E equal to I by A, which is J into rho. Okay, E represents the electric field, J represents the current density, and rho represents the resistivity. Now, this is one important relation of current density and the electric field, E equal to J rho. And this can also be written as, let rho is taken to the denominator. So, we can write E by rho is equal to J. Now, what is this 1 by rho? Reciprocal of resistivity is called conductivity sigma. Okay, 1 by rho represents the reciprocal of resistivity, which is called conductivity. So here E into 1 by rho, it can be written as 1 by rho is sigma, so therefore it is sigma E is equal to J. This is the relation of current density with conductivity. J is equal to sigma E. Okay, so these are the two important relations. So current density is given by the definition. Current density is defined as current flowing per unit area, and two relations are E equal to J rho and J is equal to sigma E. And the unit of current density is since the formula is current density is I by A, so its unit is ampere per meter square. Okay, current by area, and hence it is ampere per meter square. And we know that current is a scalar, but current density is considered as a vector quantity. Current density is a vector. And what's the direction of current density? Direction of current density is same as the direction of the electric field. Okay, current density direction is same as the direction of the electric field. What is the direction of electric field? For example, we come to the same figure, conductor which is connected to the battery. Here this is the positive terminal, here is the negative terminal. So what is the direction of electric field? From positive to negative. So this is the direction of the electric field. So same is the direction of current density. So current density's direction is same as the direction of the electric field. Its direction is same as that of electric field. Okay, children, that is all about current density. Okay. Now we are going to study the property which is responsible for electric current inside a conductor, and that property is called drift velocity. Now we can consider a conductor. This is a conductor, and here in the inside a conductor, the electrons are moving in random direction due to the thermal velocities. Okay, so consider an electron. This is an electron. It is moving in downward direction, straight line. Consider another electron. It is also moving in the downward direction. Consider another electron. It is moving in the upward direction. So the electrons are moving in random direction due to the thermal velocities. Okay, no external electric field is applied. No potential difference is applied. Now, an external electric field is applied. For example, this is connected. This conductor is connected to a battery. So that here this is positive potential, here negative potential. An external electric field is applied. Okay, if an external electric field is applied, what happens? These electrons, in the absence of external electric field, it is moving in a straight line, and due to the thermal velocity. And due to the thermal velocity, it collides with different other charges. Okay, other electrons, and what is the average thermal velocity of the all electron? It will be 0, because these electrons are moving in a random direction, and hence average velocity will be 0. But when external electric field is applied, what happens? These electrons slightly gets shifted due to this electric field. We know that when a charge is placed in an external electric field, it experiences a force. Since it is an electron, it experiences a force opposite to the direction of the electric field. Here towards right is the direction of electric field. Therefore, it experiences a force in the opposite direction. Therefore, this charge, this electron experience a force and it drift towards left side. Here also this electron also experience a drift towards opposite direction to the direction of the electric field. Here this experience a force in the opposite direction. Okay, so these electrons moving in the straight line, it experience a drift. Okay, due to what? Due to the external electric field. And this drift, average of the drift speed, the speed with which these electrons are drifting. So, this average of drift speed is called a drift velocity. Okay, so what is meant by drift velocity? The average of drift speed in a conductor when an external electric field is applied is called a drift velocity. And this drift velocity is responsible for electric current inside a conductor. So once more, in the absence of external electric field, all the electrons are moving in random direction and hence its average velocity, average thermal velocity will be 0. But when an external electric field is applied, the electrons experience a force opposite to the direction of the electric field and hence the electrons experience a drift towards which direction? Towards the opposite electric field direction. So it experiences a drift. And this average of drift speed is called a drift velocity and it is responsible for electric current inside the conductor. So we can write drift velocity is usually represented by the letter Vd. So drift velocity is the average of drift speeds of electrons in the conductor when external electric field is applied. So drift velocity can be represented by Vd. Drift velocity Vd equals V1, that is the average speed of first electron plus the average speed of the second electron, average speed of the third electron. If there are n number of electrons, V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus Vn. This is the average speed of different electrons inside the conductor divided by n. Because average we are taken, no? So our drift velocity is V1 plus V2 plus V3 plus etc. Vn divided by n. And this speed or this velocity is called the drift velocity and this is responsible for electric current. Drift velocity is responsible for electric current. Now an important question may be asked, without external electric field, what is the path of the electron? Without external electric field, the path of the electron that is due to thermal velocity, it will be a straight line. In the presence of external electric field, what is the path of the electron due to the drift? The path of the electron is a parabolic path or a curved path. Okay, so that's an important question. In the absence of external electric field, path of the electron will be straight line and in the presence of external electric field, path is parabolic or path is a curved one. Okay. Now, the question is, can we measure this drift velocity? So, in physics, almost all physical quantities can be measured and hence drift velocity can also be measured. So, now we can derive the expression for drift velocity. Consider a conductor, an external electric field is applied and the electrons are moving, okay, with drift velocity Vd. So, what are the forces experienced by the electron? Force experienced by the electron. Force experienced by electron due to external electric field. External electric field is, we know that F equal to QE, no? So here since it is electron, F equal to minus EE, electron, negative charge, so minus E. So this is the first force experienced by the electron. And since M represents mass of the electron and A is the acceleration. So since force is experienced by the electron, it also experiences a force F equal to ma from Newton's second law, where M represents the mass and A is the acceleration of the electron. So it experiences two forces, F equal to minus E due to the external electric field and due to the acceleration F equal to ma. We can equate minus EE equal to ma, or acceleration A can be written as minus EE divided by m. So acceleration experienced by the electron due to the external electric field is A equals minus EE divided by m. Now, so we know that we consider the electron in the absence of electric field, it will be moving in a straight line. It collides with the other electron and it is moving in this direction. It collides with this electron, it is moving in this direction and such. Okay, if an external electric field is applied, what happens? If electric field is applied, it will be shifted. This electron will be shifted like this, and this electron will be shifted like this. Okay, and here this electron will be shifted like this, and the process goes on. So due to the external electric field, it slightly drifts. Okay, let tau be the average time that elapses between two successive collisions. Collisions of an electron. So tau be the average time between two successive collisions. For example, like this electron collide with this electron. So time taken for this collision is tau. Okay, and this time from this collision to this collision, the time taken, let it be tau. So average time, that is called a tau, which is called a relaxation time. Successive collision of electron is called a relaxation time. Because in this relaxation time, no collision is take place. So electron is highly relaxed. Okay, and hence the time is called a relaxation time. So the relaxation time is the average time that elapses between two successive collisions. Elapses between two successive collisions. Okay, relaxation time is represented by the letter tau. Now, since the electron is having acceleration, we can apply the equation of motion. First equation of motion is V equals V0 plus AT. Okay, so here if you take the average, V represents the average velocity. Okay, average velocity, which is called drift velocity. Taking the average. Taking the average, V represents the average velocity. This is the average velocity is equal to V0 average plus A into T, average time. And the velocity average, that is called a drift velocity. V0, the initial velocity average, that is the terminal velocity, average of terminal velocity is 0. Therefore, this is 0. V0 average means initial velocity is the terminal velocity, isn't it? So, average of terminal velocity is equal to 0 plus A into time average. Average time is called the relaxation time, which is represented by 2. So, drift velocity Vd equal to A2. Substitute the value of A, acceleration. We got the acceleration as A equal to minus EE divided by m. Using that, Vd can be written as minus EE divided by m into time. So, drift velocity is given by the formula of Vd equals minus EE divided by m into 2. Okay, where E represents external electric field, m represents the mass of the electron, tau represents the average time, which is called a relaxation time. So, this relation has a very importance. The importance of this relation is, this equation shows that drift velocity and electric field are in the opposite direction. Okay, Vd equal to minus EE. The drift velocity of the electron is opposite to the direction of the electric field. That already we have discussed, no? Electric field and drift velocity are in the opposite direction. Now, if temperature increases, what happens to the collision? Collision will be increased. Temperature increases, the electrons are moving in different direction, random direction, and hence the time between the successive collision decreases. Okay, the collision takes place fastly. Therefore, the time taken between the successive collision decreases. As temperature increases, relaxation time decreases. And hence what happens to drift velocity? Drift velocity decreases. So this is a very important relation. So temperature increases, what happens? The relaxation time decreases and hence the drift velocity also decreases. Now, if this conductor is connected to a strong electric field or connected to a strong potential difference. So strong potential difference or strong electric field means electric field increase. Now what happens to drift velocity? Drift velocity also increases. So as electric field increase, potential difference increase and hence drift velocity also increases. Okay, so that is the relation. So electric field increases means if a strong battery is connected, then potential difference increases and hence drift velocity also increases. From this we can write one more relation. Let L be the length of the conductor. L represents the length of the conductor. Okay, L is the length of the conductor. Now what is the relation between electric field and potential difference? We have E equal to V divided by distance. E equal to V by L, electric field equal to potential difference divided by length. And hence drift velocity can also be written as minus E V tau divided by L. This is also a very important relation and numericals and application questions are there relating this one. Okay, so from this relation also shows that as electric field increases, potential difference increases, drift velocity also increases. Okay, so this is considered as the base of many other derivations that will be discussed later. Okay, children.